All right, welcome to the game of real estate. I am talking about the most important thing today, how to get leads. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
3, 2, 1.
I'm your host, Jason Rash. Welcome to the game of real estate, and we are back, and we are here to play the game. And by the way, never play a game that you can only win one way. That's how most people find themselves on the losing side of life. Anyway, so as we dive into this podcast episode, I want to talk about a couple of things here that most people reach out to me about. Now, the purpose of this entire podcast is to take you on the journey of real estate. This is a game of real estate. I'm playing a game. I'm selling real estate down here in the most competitive market in the entire country, which is South Florida. Hello. And if you've never been to South Florida, you got to come down here. February is the best time to visit. All you people up north, come on down. So I'm going to talk you through and walk you through the journey of how I'm building this. I got some great stories today I want to share with you. Some of you are going to be like, oh, God, I feel the burn on that one, but it's going to be great. Now, I know that what you're thinking right now, like, Jason, I want to get into the game of real estate. Why would you start in the market that is almost at a complete standstill? We've got inflation. We've got a lot of different things working against us here in real estate. However, that's when I chose to start. Some people like to get on board. They like to catch the wave when they see it coming, and most of those people are kind of left, sans Bitcoin. Anyways, I started real estate whenever it was not what's the word I'm looking for? Politically correct. Not politically correct, but it was one of the most challenging markets, which was 2023. Inflation was going up. Nobody wanted to touch real estate other than 2008. That was pretty challenging. So shout out to all you warriors who sold real estate in 2008, and you're still doing it today. So here's the cool thing about this. The reason why I want to do this podcast is I want to take you through this because I want you to be able to build a business. I started this podcast with the intent in mind that, hey, look, if I can do this, you can do it. I've got all 10 fingers and 10 toes. They work. I'm out here building a business. I suspect that you probably have the same thing. I'd love to see you build a business, but a lot of people don't know how to do it. So today we're going to talk about the most important thing when it comes to building a business. I don't care if you're building a doctor's business, if you're building a real estate business, if you're building any type of business, online, offline, service-based, product-based, whatever it is, network marketing-based. I don't know if you know this or not, but there's 3 types of business models on the entire planet. It's offering a product or service. That's the first one. Franchise, which is the second one, and network marketing or a multi-level marketing or MLM, which is the third. That's it. That's it. If you really think about every single business on the planet, that's all they are. So we're going to talk about this. And all of them require one thing and one thing only: leads. And I'm going to talk about how to get those specifically in the niche of real estate. Now, a little backstory here. My wife and I, we've done multiple businesses. We've done network marketing. We've sold stuff through the other products and services through the internet. You still had to have leads. Now, if you're having any kind of business, now where a lot of people get sidetracked at is they think that they can, spend money on different things and, they'll generate the leads, or like equipment or whatever it may be will generate all these leads, or having more product knowledge or whatever about the business. True, you do need that. But you need leads more importantly. So let's dive into this. Now, when it comes to this entire podcast, I want to tell you we're going to talk about how to generate a lead, how I do it, and then how to turn those leads into contacts, because those are 2 different things. It's really important, especially if you're riding down the road right now and you're like, man, I really want to, where maybe it's 2025, because I think 2025 is going to be amazing. Like it's going to be incredible. And 2026 is going to be better. I will say this: after the election, regardless of what side of the political leanings you're on, I think many people just wanted to get through it. They could only consume so much election drama. Ben, am I right on that? Yeah. I got a producer.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I got a producer in the house. And so, he's like the third person on the show. I've got my wife, Brooke. She's not on this episode, but she does come on quite frequently. And I've got Ben here and the producer. And, everybody knows it. Everybody, you could only take in so much election drama. Now, here's the cool thing about it. Leads are starting to pick up. I want to share these sources with you. Before I do, I think it's very important to quantify what is a lead. This is the most important thing in any business. What is a lead? Number one, I love to use this framework. So write this down if you're taking notes, or if you're in your car. This is the most important thing whenever you're building a business. A lead is a person that is a DART, a D-A-R-T. I'm going to say that again, DART, D-A-R-T. The reason why is D stands for desire, A stands for ability, R stands for reason, and T stands for timeline. So I'm going to use real estate since we're talking about real estate here. When someone reaches out to me, I try to uncover their level of desire. What is their motivation? Why do they desire to do this? Are they moving here because they want to, their daughter may be in the area and they're like, hey, listen, I want to be around my daughter and her kids that are growing up. That's cool. That's a pretty strong reason for somebody. It's a pretty strong desire for somebody. Do they have the ability? Meaning, do they have the cash, or do they have the ability to sell a home? You'd be amazed how many people reach out to me. They want to sell a home, but they're on the actual deed with their spouse and they're like, I don't want my spouse to know this. And I'm like, well, legally, that's going to be kind of challenging to sell a property out from your spouse whenever you don't have power of attorney, but just them not knowing about it. Hey, honey, we sold the house. Good job, right? You may be able to go buy a car, one of those Lexus Christmas to December events, whenever you can go buy a car without your spouse knowing, but you're not going to be able to sell your house, especially if they're on the deed with you. So do they have the ability to move forward in this? For instance, if you're having another business, do they have the ability to purchase a product or service? That's really important to know. The next thing is what is the reason? Like, why are they wanting to purchase this specific property? Like in this game of real estate, why this reason right here, right? So we had desire. My daughter's moving to the area for a job, and so I need to be in the area. But the reason I want this specific, they're two different things, so just remember that. The reason I want Pacific property is X. Maybe it's waterfront, maybe it's 4 bedrooms, maybe he has an office, maybe he has such and such. So you've got to uncover that. And the last thing, like the hardest thing for so many people that are in real estate to ask is, hey, what's your timeline on this? When are you thinking of making a move? Because if you ask why you're thinking of making a move, it doesn't really like pinpoint. Like you got to dial in the DART, the D-A-R-T. So whenever I talk to people, and I talk to a lot of people, either I take copious notes on people, or whenever I'm talking to them, I try to uncover their level. Like what is the DART? What is the DART framework? So if you're in any business, this is going to help you, by the way. This is going to help you drastically in any business uncover it. Now, I want to talk about the lead sources of where I get it, because a lot of people, like I said, in real estate, they have a very hard time starting out because they can't generate leads. They think that they need to know contracts. You do. They think they need to know how to negotiate. You do. How to work the MLS. You do. You're going to have to know all that stuff. You don't have to do a podcast I'm doing, and you don't have to have a Facebook business page, but you do need to know. You need to know how to generate leads and where those leads are coming from. So the 4 sources, I'm going to talk about a couple different places, because people seem to get inundated with like, okay, I got to be here. I got to be over there. I got to be doing this. I got to be that. I got to do this. You need to know specifically what's going to work for you. And what works for me may not work for you, but I hope that this gives you a little bit of inspiration. Like, you know what? I could probably go there too. So the first thing is I've got paid leads. Like I'm not ashamed to admit it. I pay for leads. I pay for them all day long. It doesn't make me any less, than anything else. But I have gone down the road. I want to tell you a story about this. So I partnered with, the first company I did was like a company called AdWorks. What is it? A-D, I'm phonetically challenged over here, Ben. So if I get my spelling off, it's ADWERK or X or something like that. I think it's AdWorks. And what they do is they take literally a listing or anything like that, and they'll put it on a site somewhere. And it's just a static image. A lot of people don't respond to that, but their prices are just absolutely just exorbitant, like $1,000 or something like that. And I didn't get anything from it. I'm just being honest with you. I didn't get jack from that. Some people call that digital marketing. I call it digital hijacking. The second thing I did was I did the Zillow leads. Now, this is popular with a lot of people. Now, I'm not calling out Zillow, but I'm going to call out Zillow here. So listen very close, because every time I tell the story, everybody's like, oh, God, bless America. So 2 things happen in this moment here. So I reach out to Zillow, and I contact them, and they said they're giving me, quote, unquote, a special. I was like, okay, cool, fantastic. So I was paying, I think, $1,500 a lead. Per lead. I committed a 6-month campaign with them. The first lead that came in it was raining. Now, if you don't know anything about Zillow, they have this app called Premier Agent. I'm going to tell you how this works. So they have an app called Premier Agent. They walk you through it. And what they do is they say, okay, you have 30 seconds to answer this phone call. If you don't answer, it's going to go to another person in your area, in the same little local area. So how Zillow works, if you don't know how it works, they sell multiple packages of leads all to the same people. Bigger Pockets does the exact same thing. So what they do is they're going to sell these leads to somebody who's willing to pay the most. It's a weighted return, just like Google. Whenever you go to Google search, it's a weighted search. Whoever's willing to pay the most for the click, that's who they're going to send it to. Zillow's the exact same way. So let's say in your city, you've got 100 agents all vying for the exact same leads, not the same amount, but the exact same leads. So I'm going to pay 100, but then I've got Jeff over here. He's willing to pay 2,000. So Jeff is obviously going to get more of those leads that I want. That's how the game works. Unfortunately, whoever's willing to pay the most, that's who they're going to do it to. So this fall call comes in on my Zillow Premier app, and it's ringing. It has a big red X or it has a big green check mark. That's pretty much how it goes. It's pouring down rain. The railroad crossing is coming down, and I have 30 seconds to answer this call. Now, if you don't know something about me, I'm going to tell you I'm going to be a little vulnerable here with you for a minute. I am phonetically challenged. I have a hard time pronouncing certain words. If I hear them, I can repeat them back, but when I see them, certain words just get lost in my brain. So I had just moved to the area. There is a street here. It's called Poinciana or Ponciana. What's it called, Ben?
I think it's Poncietta.
Exactly. Okay, there's a T there. I totally missed a T,
Poncietta,
right?
Yeah.
So I pick up the phone, And I was like, screw it. It's raining. The gravel car's coming down. I was like, okay, screw it. And I just hit the button. I was like, hey, this is Jason. I saw that you were looking to get a house on Poinciana. That man said, hey, listen, this is Mike. I'm looking to buy the property outright cash. If you cannot pronounce the name of the street, you're not the guy for me. Bam, and hung up. And that was it. $1,500. Poof, just gone, evaporated just like that. I was like, damn, that's a cruel market here. I mean, they don't play. The second lead that I got from them, it was a lady calling me, asking me if I could contact the neighbor to see if she could rent the garage. That was literally it. And Zillow wouldn't give me back my money. And so at this point, I paid $3,000 for nothing. And so that by month 4, they skipped the month. I paid them $1,500, didn't give me a single lead. But month 4 coming up, month 3, they didn't give me a lead. Month 4, I'm going into this. And so I get on the phone with Zillow, and I just wanted to explain something to you. There's a lot of companies out there that take advantage of hungry, ambitious people. There really is. And you got to know your stuff. You got to know what you're looking at. You can't see the forest for the trees sometimes. You can't be blind to what's actually in front of you. So I'm sitting here, because if I sell one property, it's going to pay for all of the Zillow ads. That is my thinking of how this is going to work. I'm going to wind up paying out $1,500 for 6 months and make $25,000 on the sale of a house, and I get the split, the arbitrage, right? But by month 4, I'm in this, and it's not going so great. So I get on the phone with Zillow. They're calling me. We're talking back and forth with customer service. And, I was like, hey, do you guys have any leads to send me for this month? Because you guys didn't send me one last month. No, but if you stay in the game and you renew for another 6 months, then we're going to be able to give you some more leads and we'll credit that back to you. And I said, no, I don't think that's how it's going to work. And he said, well, sir, Mr. Rash, you are locked into a contract here with Zillow. And I said, you guys know where I'm going with this. Ben, what does it sound like so far? I pay for something and I'm not getting what it is that I paid for. And I don't know of any business, by the way, that can do that. Real quick, before you answer, Ben, let's figure this out. Ben hosts a podcast, owns a podcast studio here. We pay him money if all of a sudden he doesn't show up and he's like, nah, whatever, we'll do it next week, and still continues to charge me. What's going to happen here?
Going to be a problem.
Right, it's going to be a problem. And so what do you think happened? What do you think I said is going on with Zillow?
I felt like there was going to be a little problem.
That's right. I told him, I said, listen, this is a scam. This is a scam. You're asking me to pay more money. You're not delivering what it is you said you did. So now we're going to have a problem here. And so I got into it with some of the Zillow big dogs. And look, here's the thing. Look, I'm a nice guy, but whenever it comes to, somebody misleading me, I totally understand mistakes, but somebody intentionally misleading me and trying to scam me, I really get triggered by that. I don't know if you get triggered by that, Ben, but I get triggered by that. And so we got into it. I talked to the manager of the manager of the manager, and they wound up crediting me back almost all my months there, and they canceled. They still want me to come back, though. They still call me, but I tell everybody the story. I'm like, hey, you guys tried to scam me? No, thank you. So that was my experience with Zillow. I know that other people have had a better experience than me, but I will never go back to Zillow. Sorry, Zillow and Realtor.com. I'll never go back with either one of you. So I paid for that. And now I have a new service that I paid for. And here's the thing. I went through the Zillow thing, and then I started doing some other things to generate leads. And I'm going to talk about those here in just a second. But I am back on paid leads. Now, I do have a really good paid lead source that actually works. I'm going to tell you a story about this here in a second. But if you want to know what it is, just email me, support@jasonrash.com. That's support@jasonrash.com. And I'll tell you what the lead generation source is that I use. It's really good. It's by far the best out of all the ones that I've used. Now, here's the cool thing about this. I get a text message. So the way this lead generation system works is that I built a website called palmbeachhomefinders.com. Now, it works a lot like a Facebook page where you have to have a business Facebook page, and you can send out ads based off the Facebook page. You don't have to actually post on the business Facebook page if you don't know that, but you can send ads. You just have to have a business page on Facebook to run ads. The same thing on Google. So we bought palmbeachhomefinders.com, and we put like 2 minutes into designing it because nobody will ever see that page. What it does do is it allows us to build mirror sites. The service that I signed up for, they build all these mirror sites, and they offer a certain way to find leads. Either you can do social media static ads where they kind of stumble upon, which I would not recommend, or you can do geofenced SEO. I chose geofenced SEO. I told them the exact areas that I wanted to be in, down to the neighborhood. So when somebody clicks on this site that looks a lot like another site, but what's great about this is it takes away all of the listing information. So they only it's my branding, it's my photos, it's me on that page. And I've had multiple people call me, even realtors call me like, oh my God, I need to talk to you about your 4 listings over here, blah, 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 right? I never mislead anybody like that. And I tell them, hey, look, I'm just a buyer's representative. I represent them. But here's the magic in this. When people go to my page and they click on the photo, perfect. It gives them the first photo. If they want to see the next one, they have to enter their name, phone number, and email. And then when they enter their phone number, it sends them a code to make sure it's the exact same phone number. Now, here's what you're thinking, because I guarantee for a fact you're thinking the exact same thing that I'm thinking. Ben, what do you think I said whenever I was sitting here and they were trying to pitch me on this paid service? What do you think I said?
You were probably like, you got to give me some more information.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sitting here and I was like, what stops somebody from copying the address and taking it over to Google and popping it in and just going to Zillow? And she was like, they don't do that. And I'm like, what do you mean? They said it's another step in the process. It's far easier to just go bang, 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 contact info, phone number, back to the code. And people do it. Hundreds of people do it. I've gotten about 168 leads from this lead gen source. It's been great. I'll tell you one story about it. So whenever that happens, whenever somebody enters in information, they automatically get my cell phone number. I was on the golf course in North Palm Beach playing golf, and I'll never forget this. This guy texted me. I'm not going to give you his name, but I probably need to come up with some cool names to start like hiding people's identity. But this guy texted me, and he says, "Hey," he calls me first, and I have a thing on my phone that says, "Hey, it's Jason Rash. I'm showing properties. Just feel free to text me." That's literally what I say to people. It's one of those autoresponders that I'll just tap, right? And it's good. It's good because people that don't know I'm in real estate, they all of a sudden know I'm in real estate, and people that are possibly potential clients, they know that I'm outside doing work. Anyway, he texts me back immediately, "Hey, no text, call me now." That's literally all it was. And I was like, seriously? Seriously? First of all, this is awesome. And second of all, what a dick. Pardon my language, but geez, I was like, oh, okay, all right. So I was like, hold on, boys, let me here, hold my golf club. I step off to the side to talk to this guy, and he's like, hey, this Jason, this blah, 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 blah. This is what I'm looking for. Bang, 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 bang. When can you show us some property? And I was like, okay, let's go. And he was a fast action taker. So it does work. It's absolutely fantastic. That is, if you want to know what lead source I'm doing that is not a stumble upon, but is a direct SEO, geofenced area, feel free to message me at support@jasonrash.com. Just say paid leads with an exclamation point. Feel free to do that. The second thing I do to generate leads is open houses. Like open houses are by far the best thing. Now, if you're in real estate, you got to love talking to people. My son doesn't exactly like talking to people, but I love talking to people. So I'm a belly to belly kind of person. I know that's kind of gross. Some people say, oh God, that's gross. Look, I don't have a big belly. In fact, I've got a six-pack. So, it's six-pack to six-pack then at that point. So here's a cool thing about this though. So open houses, I know I can convert somebody. I can show them my charisma. I can show them my energy. And I never flex real estate knowledge really. I mean, because beyond, taxes, insurance, things like that, like anybody can provide that. But during an open house, I take people on the journey through the house. I help them see what the property can be. And this is the magic for so many people. Ben, do me a favor. Can we turn the air down just a little bit in here? I'm getting heated up in here. I'm starting to sweat a little bit because I'm getting into it. Let's go. So here's the thing, like if you're in real estate, the game of real estate, you really have to think about this. If somebody is going to walk through your house, they are busy. They're probably a family woman or a family man. They probably got kids. They've got drama. They've got other things going on in their own life. There are some looky-loos. Do not get me wrong. But the majority of people that come in an open house are actual buyers. I know some of you thinking right now, oh my God, they probably have an agent. I never think like that. And by the way, one question that I ask somebody whenever they come through the house is that, who is your realtor? I don't ask them, hey, do you have a realtor? Nope, don't ask that. Or hey, are you working with somebody? Nope, because if they say yes, all of a sudden they're going to expect me to just be turned off. Or if they say no, all of a sudden I've got Hawkeyes and I'm like, okay, this could be a client. Ooh, yes, this is my client. I'm marking my territory. No, don't do that. I just ask them who's a realtor, and I'm going to tell you how this works. So I did an $8 million, this is going to blow your mind here. So I did an $8 million open house for a builder that I connected with at the very beginning of my journey selling real estate. And now in this part, I had about 10 families coming through on a Sunday afternoon, and it was in the winter. So in South Florida, just to give you an idea, we have a seasonal season, if you will, where the population of the state actually swells by like 35%. I think it's probably more than that because there's a lot more traffic jams, but I could be completely wrong. That was just what the data tells me. Anyway, I've got 10 families that are coming into this house. I'm running around like crazy. I'm in the zone. I'm like, hey, check out this room. Check out that room. You could do this from that. And kids are there. And I'm like, you could jump off that and film it on YouTube and put it on Instagram. And this guy walks in, this adult guy walks in his probably late 50s, early 60s at the time. His wife walks in and his 3 adult children walk in. And, yep, and his wife, and they walk in. And so what's great about it is that I'm in the zone. I see him come over there, and I was like, hey, listen, can you give me like 10 minutes? I'll be right there. He said, yeah, absolutely. No problem, man. Do your thing. So I get all the families through the house. I finally get over to him, and I was like, hey, are you guys ready to see the property? He smiles at me. He says, absolutely. So I do my thing. I show him the property. I'm in the zone. Now, here's the magic. I don't do any of those little open house things where you have to fill out your information. I don't do anything like that. If it's $8 million house, I'm not going to do that. If it's a $650,000 house, you better believe I'm going to do that. But I leave my cards out. As we're done with the tour, his 3 kids walk out the front door. His wife walks out the front door. After we talked, we've had a great conversation. He goes to grab this 10-foot glass door and opens it up and takes a step out. He's got his foot just barely about to touch the ground, and he says, you know what? Let me get your card. Boom. And so we wound up working together, and we put a $5.6 million house under contract. But how I got to this level was I asked him up in one of the upstairs room with all of his kids and his wife there, said, who's your realtor? He told me who his realtor was. I knew this individual, and I said, awesome, that's fantastic. But apparently they weren't working together. So here we are. Here's the thing about this. You never know where someone's at. You never know where someone's predisposition of their story is at. So I use open houses to get into the community. I want to meet the neighbors. And by the way, some of those neighbors may be auditioning you to sell their house as well. All right, fantastic. We're making it through the podcast. If you're watching this on air, I want to talk about this product. So my wife sells this product. It's called Recharge. It is fantastic. This product is an amazing product. It's I would say it's first of all, it's got all these plants and herbs in it. It's got caffeine in it, and taurine in it, and vitamin B. Now, I don't know all the scientific details about this, but it is a powder. Let me tell you what it does do. This is not an energy stick. This is not an energy drink. This right here is a game changer. So when I say it's a game changer, a lot of people drink caffeine to quote unquote get into the zone. I highly suspect that because that's what I decided to do. I don't really want to feel like a body high, if you will, or body energy surge. This is actually completely different. I'm on it right now. It's fantastic. So what it does is it wakes up your mind. It gets you in the zone. It gets you focused. It gets you ready, like laser-like focus. It's a product that I can't get enough of. To be honest, I probably take more than recommended. Not at once, but I'll probably take some more this afternoon just because it's amazing. But if you want to know more about this product, it's called Recharge. You can just go to, where's that link at, Ben? Yeah, it is, recharge.jasonrash.com. Now, look, here's the thing. It gives you high energy. Yes, it does. Does it give you do you have crashes? No. Do you have any jitters? No. Are you focused in the zone? Absolutely. Is it a clean source of caffeine? 1,000%. Is there any sugar? I don't think so. If there is, it's very, very minimal. I don't think it is. I think these guys probably, it's less than 1 gram. So if you want to check out this product, feel free to go to recharge.jasonrash.com. It's exactly what I use to get in the zone and stay focused. All right, back to the show. The third place that I get lead sources from is social media. Now, here's where some people, I don't get leads from social media, but I do want to say why social media is important because it really, really is. So let's say you're doing that open house. And this actually happened to me. You're doing an open house. If somebody wants to actually say, listen, John, we're thinking about selling our house. Why don't we get old Jason over here to come take a look at it? Well, let me Google Jason real quick. I see Jason's on Instagram. I see Jason's on Facebook. I see Jason's got 45,000 followers on Facebook. I see he's over here on Instagram. Oh, he just posted a story 2 minutes ago inside that open house. All right, let's check. Yeah, I like this guy. I like the way he presents the product. They're using you as, it's an auditioning tool pretty much. There's a lot of people that are going to see you and they're never going to say anything to you. They're going to go look at your online presence. And if you're like blasting about the election or personal drama or whatever it may be they're never going to reach out to you. Sad to say, they're not going to reach out to you. The online social is a really good resume. That's the best way to put it. It's a fantastic resume for whenever people want to Google you and they can get a real sense of who you are. They can just drop into your daily life through one of the stories. So make sure that if you're in any business, by the way, I think this goes for any business, don't air your family drama. Don't air like all their struggles and stuff like that. Like you can be real and you can be authentic, but nobody wants to be like, seeing a Debbie Downer. So just remember that that's what your socials are going to be for. We got 25 seconds here left. We're probably going to go a little bit over, Ben. I'm just going to let you know. I hope that thing doesn't go like a basketball. Okay, cool. Fantastic. It doesn't. So we did paid leads. We did the open house. We did the social. Now I'm going to talk about something that's going to get some of you shaking in your boots. So be prepared. Cold calls. I love talking to people. I opened up this entire broadcast with it. Look, if you do not like talking to strangers, By the way, everyone that you met now that's your friend, they were a stranger at one point, just an FYI, because if my understanding is we all came into this world by ourselves. Anyway, if you don't like talking to people, this may not be the game for you. Now, I totally get cold calling a stranger right off the street. Like I cold call like an assassin. I have a software that I use. I will drop in. This person's probably doing laundry. They could be doing whatever with the ironing board and all that good stuff. All of a sudden, hey, this is Jason Rash. Do you want to sell your house? I don't talk like that, but I'm just saying, I just like the deep bass sound in this thing, right? But I cold call people. I talk to people. I want to tell you a story about how this works. So I use my software to do the neighborhood that we live in. We live in a neighborhood called Alton. It's up in Palm Beach Gardens. You can Google it. It's amazing, by the way. If you want to buy a house there, I know a guy that can sell you a house there. Here's the thing. I Googled everybody, or I used my software. I pulled the information out of the property owners. This software gives me the name, their cell phone number, their email, and their if there's any spouses on the deed. Here's the cool thing about it. I said, I don't want to talk to anybody that owns a house. I want to talk to people that own multiple homes in here. So I was like, okay, I just made that list real quick. And then I said, I want people that own 2, 3 or more. So very quickly out of 943 homes, that list dwindled down to about 6 people. I called all 6 people. I said, hey, hello, my name is Jason Rash. I've got a quick question I want to ask you about your property located at blah, 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 blah. Feel free to give me a call back. Most people don't ever call back. And I don't always leave a voicemail. But this one time I left a random voicemail. And this lady calls me back about 6 hours later, about 3:30 p.m. And as I'm headed to the beach, it's a ring, and I'm like, hello, this is Jason. She's like, this is Jason Rash, correct? And I said, it is. She said, well, my name is Bang, Bang, Bang. And I was like, okay. And she's like, I own a 1,000-person cybersecurity company. Oh, I was like, okay. And she's like, I just wanted to tell you that what you're doing is absolutely awesome because nobody else is doing that. It's totally admirable. I built a company from nothing, and I know the work that it takes to put this in. Instantly, I'm like, fantastic. How can I help you? All right. So this woman, we're talking for about 4 or 5 minutes. I uncovered in that just asking questions like, hey, she lives over here. She's got multiple properties over here. They may be doing some renovations over here, but they might want to buy another $4 million property over here and wanted some help doing it. Now, we were not able to close that deal. We went a long way down that rabbit hole, but it wasn't the lady's fault. It was the seller actually on the other end. But anyway, sometimes things don't always come together, but you never know where that will lead into the future. It was fantastic. It's a great way to meet people and to bring and to close the gap from who knows you to who doesn't know you. Cold calls are amazing. Again, I know that's not for everybody, but if you really want to develop that skill, you can literally pick up the phone and make money today. That's what's great about cold calls. The last thing I want to talk about here, and I'm adding this in here, print mail. So I haven't done this yet, but I actually have a photo shoot next week that I'm shooting to shoot out of print mail. I'm going to tell you something. There's a guy in my office named Vince Marotta. Shout out to you, Vince. Man sells $200 million in real estate every single year by himself. I'm going to throw that out there, by himself. This guy sells in the same neighborhood as Michael Jordan. So he's doing some big deals. I walked in there and I said, hey, I've got a couple questions about real estate. We start talking along the way. And he could clearly see that I was struggling and I needed some advice. He comes out, he says something to me. He said, where do you live? And I said, I live in Alton. He said, become the king of Alton. And I was like, okay. And he said, this is what you're going to do. And he pulls out one of his flyers. He said, you're going to do this. You're going to take photos like this. This is how you're going to say the headline. And this is what you're going to put on the back. You're going to do it for 12 months and you're going to do one every single 2 weeks. And I was like, okay. Let me ask you a question. If you're riding down the road right now, if someone selling or $200 million, whatever your product or service is, are you going to take advice from them? And they do it repeatedly. Are you going to take advice from them? You're damn right. Whatever he said do, I'm doing it. So that's where we're going with it. So the lead sources, paid leads, open house, social, cold call, and print mail. These are all fantastic. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of different things as I wrap this up. Obviously, clearly, you got to follow up. I don't use the chat GPT. I do a lot of other things. But I wanted to talk about just the lead source in this thing. Because, again, most people in real estate fail because they don't have leads. Most people fail in businesses because they don't have enough leads. Most businesses fail because they don't have enough products to sell to enough leads. They just can't sell enough to keep the lights on. And that's how the game goes. That's what's called a business. If you're not making money and you're not selling stuff, you don't really have a business, okay? So let's get this up. Let's get these rolling. Hope this inspires you. And this is the game of real estate. I've had to go through and learn all this stuff. It's cost money. It's cost time. It's cost attention. It's been heartaches. It's been victories along the way. There's a lot of stuff. And everybody goes through it. Not everybody bats 100, by the way. Not everybody's batting 100 in every single business. So whatever you see on Instagram, it's not always right. There's a lot of things that go on behind closed doors. So with that said, my name is Jason Rash. This is the game of real estate. I'm taking you on the journey. I've made a lot of mistakes. I probably continue to make more mistakes. It's okay. That's why I talk about it right here on this show, right here, the game of real estate. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon. For this episode, the game of real estate. Remember, this game rewards those who stay in it to win it, and I'm here to keep you ahead of the competition. If you're feeling pumped and ready to make your next big move, hit that follow button so that you never miss an episode. And hey, don't just listen, share this podcast. Screenshot this episode, post it to the stories, and tag me at Jason Rash. Go ahead and do that now for a repost and a personal shout out. This is the game of real estate where winners are made, deals are closed, and the hustle never stops. I'll see you back on the field next time. Game on. Let's go.